contravention to the laws of the land, or are they in the right? Well, I have my guest joining us via Zoom. Professor Richard Aduche Wokocha is a professor of law at the Rivers State University in Port Harcourt. Always a pleasure to have him join us on the show. So happy holidays and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I wish you the same, and good evening, Nigerians.
Great. Let's start by looking at, all that has played out up until now, where I'm sure between you and I, this is not shocking to you because mathematics in the House of Assembly in Rivers State has always been in the news. Are you necessarily surprised at what has happened? Did you see it coming to this, or you did not think that it would reach this?
Well, I think I saw this coming. The manner in which the current government emerged and the manner in which its appointees were appointed towards the tail end of the last administration gave the impression that there could be problems somewhere along the line. So first, I'm not surprised at what is happening. From when impeachment notice was purportedly served or issued, I was not surprised at all. I've seen it coming.
In the past 24 hours, we've seen Governor Sim Fubara declare 26 seats for lawmakers vacant. We've seen him go to court to make sure of it. We've also seen him present a budget to 4 people. This takes me back in the day when we were in River State, where we would say a certain number is greater than a certain number. In this case, is 4 greater than 26? Go ahead, sir. Is 4 greater than 26 in terms of the legislature?
The true position is that mathematically, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. But when it comes to politics and issues of public administration, things could really be different, especially in politics. I can remember the elder statesman Churchill of blessed memory, former British Prime Minister, saying that in politics, 2 plus 2 can be not just 4, it can be -5, it can be -2, it can leave the entire class in confusion with the teacher with a black eye and all of that. So it's like that. But the truth again is, in the eyes of the law, we cannot really say now that we have a situation of a small number against a larger number. In the eyes of the law, there is only the small number left at the moment. It's been in the news, it's been discussed severally, but if you look at section 109 of the Constitution and subsection 1G, I think it makes it clear that a person vacates his seat under tenure, where the Constitution discusses tenure of members of the House of Assembly. It says a member vacates his seat if that G says, if being a person elected under the ticket of a party, he becomes a member of another party. And it provides what next should be done when that happens. It says the House should sit, the Speaker should present it to the House, or a member should bring it to the attention of the House, and the Speaker should declare, or presiding officer should declare that seat vacant. All of that has been done. So in the eyes of the law, Rivers State House of Assembly has -27 members at the moment.
So does it mean that those 4 people are the only legitimate members of the State House of Assembly as we speak?
That is the true situation. The only circumstance in which the law creates an exception is where the political party of the persons who are defecting is in crisis. And the Supreme Court has said that is when there is crisis at the national leadership level. The National Executive Committee is in crisis. You have it factionalized and all that. That is what the Supreme Court said meets the requirement of that provision. Other alternative is where that political party merges with another political party, so that the person is not really leaving his party, but his party has fused into another party, and members of both parties now represent the same party. So those are the only 2 circumstances where there is crisis at the national level of a party and where two parties merge.
Where there's a
Those
merger.
are the only circumstances in which the Constitution permits a person to remain on the seat if he leaves, if he vacates, if he moves from one political party into another while he is sitting. It's an act that vacates that position, takes away that person from the position. It's automatic. It's a creation or function of law. It does not require a court intervention or a court declaration. It does not require INEC declaration. It simply requires that it is presented before the rest of the House and the presiding person declares those positions vacant. All of that have taken place.
Wow.
So those 27 members or whatever the number is.
Professor, are you still there?
Are sitting as a committee of friends. They are not lawmakers anymore in the eyes of the Constitution.
Sorry, the connection.
Yes,
the connection cut you off a bit. You just said something about the fact that the 27 others are sitting as a committee of friends. That's interesting. So they're no longer lawmakers. That's what you're saying.
They're sitting as a committee of friends. In the eyes of the law, they don't exist in the House of Assembly anymore. Their seats are vacant.
Let's talk about all that has led to this. I mean, because a lot of people have continuously said that INEC is supposed to be the ones to declare those seats vacant. But you're telling us here that INEC does not have any hand in it, that it's just the House and the Speaker, who the court has ratified as the authentic Speaker, who holds the mace, is the one who presides over it.
If you look at the Constitution, the House is properly constituted if 2/3 of the total membership is sitting, either with the Speaker or a pro tem Speaker. So in the absence of a Speaker, the members can nominate one of them to preside. That person becomes the presiding officer, and the House is properly constituted. Now, in Rivers State, as at yesterday, the House of Assembly of Rivers State had only 4 members. So those 4 members sitting with one of them nominated or voted or selected by the rest of them to preside is Rivers State House of Assembly. If it has received the report as it did, and the presiding officer declares the positions vacant, it has complied with the provisions of the Constitution. So it's complete. There is no role for the court to play in that declaration. There is no role for the court to play in that declaration, and there is no role for INEC to play with respect to the declaration.
Interesting.
What INEC has to do is within 90 days to conduct election to refill those positions, to refill the vacant positions.
So INEC,
that is the only role INEC has to play, not to declare.
So in 90 days, INEC is under some form of compulsion by the law to organize an election to fill those seats. So what then happens to those men? Because they were obviously elected into office. So moving to this other political party means that they've lost that ticket. Is that what it means? And so anybody else can run for that office?
They are deemed in law to have resigned their positions as assemblymen.
I see.
When you vacate your position by jumping party or by moving from your party to another, in circumstances other than the ones permitted by the Constitution, you are deemed to have withdrawn, you are deemed to have resigned. And it's within their constitutional right to resign, to say they don't no longer want to be assemblymen. So the net effect of moving from your party to another party, as stated by Section 109 of 1G, is that you have resigned your position as an assemblyman. That seat is vacant and will have to be refilled by your constituency.
Interesting. I know Lagosians have so many questions they want to ask you on this matter, and that's why I brought you at such short notice, because you and I have had conversations for weeks about the legislature and how it works, and today is a true test of how the legislature works and what's going to happen in the coming days. Might I ask once again, those people who have been presumed in the eye of the law to have resigned, are they capable of reapplying to run for those positions again under the auspices of the new party that they've moved to?
Oh yes, they are members of a different political party now. And so if election is called, that party is free to fill them. If they succeed at the primaries of that party, they are free to run. If they win, they can return as assemblymen under that new party.
Interesting. Lagos, I want you to join the conversation because I have questions, but I want you to do the questioning. Professor Richard Aduche Wokocha is a professor of law at the River State University in Port Harcourt, River State. And we're looking at the mathematics in the River State House of Assembly. A lot of people have posited all kinds of things. So many people are saying it's illegal what's happened. The Constitution would not support it. There was no quorum. But the professor has explained to us what the Constitution expressly says about this. And of course, the different scenarios that might play out or where the law supports what has happened. But if you have questions, please feel free. Join the conversation. 0700 993 993 993. You could also join the conversation if you're a lady. Call 01465 7190. You could be part of the conversation if you're listening to us from outside of the country. Join us via Skype. We're Nigeria Info FM. And of course, we're live, facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM, and on YouTube, we're Nigeria Info FM 99.3. Would like to hear from you. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Mariam.
Good afternoon or good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening. It's Oseni calling from Kushofe.
All right, Oseni.
Yeah, good evening, Professor. I just want to ask a question. Whether 4 members out of the House of 31 members, 4 members make a quorum. Because you have to make a quorum before making any decision, even to make declaration of the other seat vacant. You have to make a quorum. So if only 4 members make a quorum of 31 members of Senate Assembly, that's my question.
Okay, thank you very much, Husseini. Professor, you heard his question, but you might want to
please restate the question.
Well, he's asking that in order for declarations to be made in the House or in any legislature, you need a quorum. And he's saying that how can 4 people make that declaration? How is the Speaker able to even declare those other seats vacant if there is no quorum?
Where you have elected members, 1/3 is required. In this case, members have, in exercise of their constitutional right, resigned.
In the eyes of the law?
The House is what is left. Yes, they have resigned in the eyes of the law by taking the step which the section of the law, section 1091G, says leads to vacating, means vacating the position. So it is what is left of the House that will receive the information. And it is only when INEC takes the constitutional step, the steps spelled out in the Constitution, that you have a fully reconstituted House again. But until then, the information has to come to the floor of the House and has to be taken. And I suppose you are aware that life will not stop in Rivers State, governance will not stop, which is why I'm sure the governor has also presented the budget before what is left of the House.
Interesting. Let's take another call. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello?
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ikoro. My name is Mr. Paul.
Mr. Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, from the information we gather now, find out that 2 have already decided to come back to the House.
Yes,
what are going to
it's
do?
not verified, but we hear that 2 people who moved to the APC are finding their way back to the PDP for reasons that are best known to them.
Is it possible to absorb them if they have decided to come back?
Okay, all right. So, Professor, he's asking that these 2 who have decided to come back, is it possible in the eyes of the law to reabsorb them, or does the law have to take its proper course?
If their step to get back is taken before matter is presented on the floor of the House and the declaration made, they will be saved. Because it will mean automatically that they are saying, no, we did not
accept
move.
This. Okay.
Yeah, it will mean that they did not move. And so even if they were in that party where that decision was taken and where they waved flags and sang the support song of the party and all that, they are saying no, they withdrew after that position. So long as the official position prescribed has not been taken, they can say. But if that is taken and they can go back through election.
Okay, I have too many questions. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon. Memnon from Best. I have questions. Can you prosecute a government official interfering in state affairs? Then secondly, can a governor be impeached?
Okay, great. Professor, did you hear?
No, you have
Okay, so he said, first thing first, I hope I remember. He's saying that can you prosecute a government official for, oh goodness, the second one, let me remember the second question. Saying that can you prosecute governor for destruction of public property? In other words, what happened yesterday? The House of Assembly being brought down because they said they had gotten reports that, it needed to be brought down and redone. I think the first one, he was also talking about prosecuting a government official for interfering in public affairs. Yes.
a government official can be prosecuted for interfering. The governor, no, because Section 308 says while in office, the president, the vice president, governor, and deputy governor cannot be proceeded against in a civil or criminal procedure.
Yes.
So proceeding. So you proceed against a governor.
And is it because of the sorry, I'm so sorry, Professor. Is it because of the immunity clause that they have protecting them?
Yes, that's the section I'm talking about. That's the immunity clause. So ordinarily you can proceed against them in both civil or criminal proceeding. You cannot. Now, as to the character of what happened yesterday, I have had the benefit of seeing certified true copy of a court order restraining the other members of the House or former members of the House. That's those who have now vacated their seats in the House, restraining them from interfering with the activities of the party that came before that court, and restraining them from entering that place and from disturbing the government's effort at renovating that place. So the government had, you recall when this whole drama played out, on the very first morning, the governor went there and the government had said they were going to renovate the place and all that. So there was an order from court that said, do not disturb government's effort at renovating the place and do not interfere with the conduct of affairs, of legislative affairs at the place that government has provided, alternative place that government has provided for legislative activities to go ahead or take place to continue. So I think it's on the strength of that the government went into action to carry on the renovation or the building work that is doing. The particular unit of the House of Assembly that was incinerated, that was brought down. That explosion and fire incident, yes, is the part that has been brought down completely. I see. And I think on my way to court this morning, I saw what going on there, still pulling out the debris from that place to enable it be rebuilt.
Before we go on a quick break, because we have about 50 seconds, many people are saying, yes, it's okay if you say that, because of quality or, whatever reasons, you want to pull down the building. Why was there not enough time to take out all the sensitive documents, all the things that are in that building, as opposed to bringing it down with all that's in it? Because there are sensitive documents in the State Assembly, aren't there?
Yeah, it's a valid question. But again, you ask yourself, how much time did they have? When did government say they were going to renovate the place? That wasn't yesterday. And the government had provided an alternative sitting place, meaning that any activities that were going on in that place was in violation or in resistance to the alternative sitting place that had been provided by government. So if you want to be fair to government, you will probably say parties had from when government said they were going to renovate the place and provided an alternative place. Parties had the opportunity to move things that they were supposed to move. But again, I think it lies within the competence of anybody whose personal property was affected to take necessary legal action to recover damages for what he has suffered. Okay. It lies within their right. Yes.
Oh, well, if you're just joining us, the program is Hard Facts, and on Thursdays from 5 to 6, we talk about the legislature, and today we're zooming in on what's happening in the River State House of Assembly. And I mean, for one reason or the other, we have been talking about and learning about how legislatures work. And today, this particular topic has come in handy for us. And so we can explore more about what's happening in the state assemblies. But we'll take a break. Professor Richard Aduche Wokocha is a professor of law at the River State University in Port Harcourt. He's here with us. When we return from this break, of course, he's here to answer all your questions. The phone lines are going off. We'll be right back.
This is an infomercial.
Now, we already know we are very much in the season of double with oneplay.ng. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Oneplay.ng does not plan to let up, because this Christmas, oneplay.ng is hitting you with the Jingle Bell jackpot. What does it mean, you're asking? Well, 500,000 naira will be up for grabs on Friday, the 22nd of December 2023. And here is how it works. On the morning crossfire on that day, 100,000 naira will be given away. On What's Up Lagos? On that same day, 100,000 naira will be given away. And of course, on the sunny side, 100,000 naira will be given away. It doesn't stop there, because on the hard facts, 100,000 naira will also be away. And will be given away all in one day, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, to qualify, all you have to do is play the one play game between the 12th of December and the 22nd of December 2023. That is all it takes. Just by doing that, you qualify to be in the Jingle Bell jackpot. Now, to play, do not forget, it has not changed. Go to www.oneplay.ng, pick Nigeria Info as your station, and play with as little as 500 naira. In a few seconds, your ticket is in the draws. Or you could pick up your phone and dial *347 *880 *3#, and just like that, you will be in the draws. Now, the more you play, the more your chances of winning. Remember to play responsibly and make sure you are above the age of 18 while playing. Now, oneplay.ng is a registered trademark of the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission. What are you waiting for, ladies and gentlemen? Start playing, start winning, start spreading the joy. Merry Christmas.
D&D mode, because it's Pepsi December. And it's no darling, cause we outside. Get ready to let loose with Pepsi this December, with the freshest music experiences as you groove 5 Mondays back to back. Timeless block party, head on to the 20 rockers shutting down the year style at Maple block parties, while catching the vibe at Club X and a Night of Queens with Tiwa Savage, Yemi Alade, and more. But that's not all. Phew, I need my Pepsi for this. This December is also stacked with thrilling live experiences with Shave Live in Lagos, Omalay on LA4 December Festival. This December, we are all outside with Pepsi. Follow _Naija social media platform. Chance to win free tickets to chill with Pepsi, cause it's a Pepsi December. Pepsi, thirsty for more.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no sizzling cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals today for good.
Discover Lipton's flavorful and taste. Unique tea leaves from selected tea around the world. Experience Lipton Yellow Label's flavorful and balanced taste in every sip. Discover Lipton's flavorful and balanced taste.
Connection is very important, especially when it's strong. And you don't realize this until you are cut off. Keep your connection strong at home or on the go with Airtel Home Broadband Internet. Get any of our devices, like the 7,500 MiFi or the 10,000 router with instant 30 gigabytes or the 20,000 router with instant 100 gigabytes. Hurry to the nearest Airtel shop or visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Hi there, my name is Mercy Johnson Okoji.
My name is Joke Silva.
Hi there, I am Aprocodoc.
My name is Chef Winnie, aka Delicious Food.
It's your boy Cruz with Joe. I love cooking.
And my choice of cooking oil.
And my choice of cooking oil is Power Oil.
My choice is Power Oil.
Use Power Oil. It's triple filtered. It contains omega-6 and 9, and it's fortified with vitamin A. Plus, it comes in different different packs and sizes so you can afford it without breaking the bank.
Get in on the action with Betano, your exciting destination for thrilling sports betting. Enjoy an award-winning experience with amazing betting options, cash out, and missions, as well as other features. Join now and get a welcome bonus of up to 100,000 Naira. Betano.ng. The game starts now.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. The new Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow Body Lotion. Enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pearl extract for visibly radiant and even skin tone in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty. For your shade of beautiful.
It's subsidy season. Win fuel vouchers, shopping vouchers, and airtime in the Hair Subsidy promo brought to you by Hairs Insurance Group. When you renew or buy any motor insurance plan from Hairs Insurance Group, you get an instant gift and qualify to win one of 25 fuel vouchers worth 100,000 Naira each. Yes, that's right, a 100,000 Naira fuel voucher. The Hair Subsidy promo is open from now until December 31st, 2023. To renew or buy a motor insurance plan, chat with Prince on WhatsApp number 09 11 400 9420 or call 0700 434 7746. Terms and conditions apply. Approved by the FCCPC and NLRC.
From the producer of Fajri, the Duke of Shamalu presents Come Make We Bath, two exciting stage plays this December. The political satire, Our Duke Has Gone Mad Again, featuring area father Charlie Boy, Kit Henshaw, Moyo Lawal, and the stupendously exciting musical History Sings, which chronicles Nigeria's history through masters like Victor Olaya, Eddie Okonta. Catch these two wonderful plays at the Aduche Recital Hall of the Muson Center from the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th of December. Time is 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Tickets regular 5,000, VIP 20,000. Hurry and get your tickets at ariaticket.com or wakaevents.ng. Written and directed by Dr. Ikechukwu Erojukwe and Makinde Adeniro Efta. Executive producer Mofoluaka Edgar. Sponsors are First Bank of Nigeria, Anco Insurance, Abe Mortgage Bank PLC, Unified Payments, and Mad Times. This play is dedicated to prostate cancer awareness in partnership with Lagoon Hospitals. Come Make We Bath will annoy you. For inquiries, call Joseph on 0909 532 5791.
It's that time of the year when folks everywhere are bundled up or shoveling snow.
But while they seek warmth in cocoa mugs, you'll be in South Africa sipping on sunshine cocktails.
You should certainly trade the snow for warm South Africa.
The land of endless summer, because that's exactly what you need and deserve.
Explore an extended summer holiday in South Africa. Visit southafrica.net today to explore how to turn snowy blues into summer hues for a dirty December. Come journey with us.
Mom, let's celebrate Christmas at its peak. I want Christmas lights so bright they could see it in space.
Wow!
I want a Christmas tree so tall players would have to watch out.
Think bigger!
Like what?
Pancakes stacked to the ceiling, delicious eggs, and a peak milk smoothie.
Just for me. Now that's Christmas at its peak.
Because truly, a peak Christmas is Christmas at its peak. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Have you seen the new Mirinda 60cl bigger bottle? It's plenty. It's got a new look, refreshing taste, and the size. You can legit start drinking at 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m. Okay, I exaggerated, but you get the drift.
Get more refreshment and more enjoyment from Mirinda's 60cl bigger bottle, also available in pineapple flavor. Mirinda's 60cl bigger bottle, more refreshment and more enjoyment is plenty.
Oh yeah, now. When you got somebody you love, and you want to show them how much. Gift cards are the surest gift that you can trust. Sure gifts for everyone.
Do you know what to give your employees, partners, and clients during the holiday season? Sure Gift vouchers are the best way to give them exactly what they want. And guess what? Employees thank their HR for the best gifts when they get the Sure Gifts vouchers. For businesses, there's no need for logistics, warehousing, and delivery headaches. Sure Gift vouchers are redeemable at at top stores in Nigeria like Spar, ShopRite, and many more. Simplify your life and be one of all the 1,000 smart companies already using Sure Gifts. Call 0191256160 today or email hello@suregifts.com.ng.
Some say the location and top-notch architecture is the best feature of Chateau Royale's Hallivine residence in Lekki Aja. Others say it's the underground electrification and 247 lights, proximity to Novari Mall, the sea of O that comes with it, and the endless investment opportunities, all at a starting price of 3.5 million naira. For your Hallivine residence 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments, semi-detached and terraces, call 0809 019 4101. That is 0809 019 4101. Or visit www.chateauroyalng.com.
As the Christmas bells ring, enjoy the glow. In the season, that's the way to go. Enjoyment, cheerful celebrations. In this season, Chivita juice is the way to go. Chivita season is here. Whoever you are, this Christmas, enjoy your Chivita.
Everyone has a Chivita. Enjoy your Chivita this season.
Enjoy your Chivita.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey. And when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of North seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
Mom, let's celebrate Christmas at its peak. I want Christmas lights so bright they could see it in space.
Wow!
I want a Christmas tree so tall players would have to watch out.
Think bigger!
Like what?
Pancakes stacked to the ceiling, delicious eggs, and a peak milk smoothie.
Just for me. Now that's Christmas at its peak.
Because truly, a peak Christmas is Christmas at its peak. Peak. Reach for your peak.
3 emerging artists, 4 mega producers, 3 record deals with Empire. Do you have what it takes? Pepsi Music Academy, in partnership with Empire, is Nigeria's confirmed music development program. Scan the QR code on any of our cool interactive Pepsi bottles or visit www.pepsimusicacademy.ng to register for free and stand a chance to kickstart your music career with a 2-year record deal with Empire. Pepsi Music Academy. Stardom begins here. Pepsi, thirsty for more.
Every parent wants to see their child growing up happy and healthy. Introducing Renzo Vitamins for Kids, a secret to your child's daily nutrition and boundless joy. With Renzo Vitamins, your child will have the energy to embrace every moment and unlock their full potential. Give your child a head start in life with Renzo Vitamins for Kids, because a happy child is a healthy child.
Before, their problem is say our shoulder too high. They say make we lower our chest. Now, they wonder why we know they ever lack airtime, credit, and data on top our glow line. Whether cash day or cash not day.
You dey mind their proco people for this market?
We know they call ourselves digital generation for nothing. Abi to get airtime, credit, and data, take sell plenty market every day, non-stop. Now your mate,
Whether cash in our hand or you know deal, we could just dey buy data and airtime credit directly from our bank account with the Glow Top Up.
That is to say, no cash, no wahala.
Yes, so cashless recharge on the go, anytime, anywhere, no stress, no shake me, no wahala.
Buy data and airtime directly from your bank account with Glow Top Up. It is easy, quick, and available on your mobile apps, ATMs, websites, leading retailers, and Glow World shops. Or download Glow Cafe app to top up, or dial *777#.
Glow Unlimited.
Oh well. Start your day and have a good time. Even when you need to clear your eyes. Or when you need to have the break time. If not tea, papa garita.
Good time moments with Kivo Creamer.
joy with Grand Square's Christmas Bonanza from December 14th to 16th. The magic of savings is in the air. Lagos, Kano, Abuja, we are turning on your Christmas wishes into reality with discounts so merry. It's the season to be shopping. Pull out your Christmas shopping list and enjoy massive discounts with our Christmas Bonanza. Tis the season for joyful shopping at Grand Square. Enjoy massive discounts across our stores. Grand Square Lagos, Grand Square Abuja, Grand Square Kano, unwrap joy with every purchase. From supermarket items to perfect presents, Grand Square is your festive wonderland. Picture this, eyes filled with laughter, carts overflowing with savings. It's not just a sale, it's a Christmas shopping bonanza. Save the date, December 14th to 16th. Make your Christmas sparkle with Grand Square, your one-stop shop for festive cheers. Grand Square Christmas Bonanza, where the savings are grand.
Christmas promo at the Edge Hotel Port Harcourt in GRA Phase 2 of Tombia Extension. Stay one night in any of our suites and stay the second night absolutely free. Stay for 2 nights in any of our classic rooms and get third night absolutely free. The terms and conditions are: this promo is available to cash guests only. Breakfast is only for one person. The room is subject to availability. Rates include VAT and service charge. And this promo is available for the month of December only. Also, every last Friday of the month is our African night at the poolside, where we display different types of local and African cuisines. We also have mouth-watering barbecue fish daily. Our Diva Hall is well decorated for cousin, wedding, birthday parties, etc. Call 0818-733130. You can also reach our sales department on 0806-515-0188. The Edge Hotel, lavish indulgence guaranteed.
Mom, let's celebrate Christmas at its peak. I want Christmas lights so bright they could see it in space. Wow! I want a Christmas tree so tall players would have to watch out.
Think bigger.
Like what?
Pancakes stacked to the ceiling, delicious eggs, and a peak milk smoothie.
Just for me. Now that's Christmas at its peak.
Because truly, a peak Christmas is Christmas at its peak. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hatchback. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, you know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Marian Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's still A's and nays on Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're the nation's number one talk, news and sports radio station, and we're very big on conversations. We'd like to hear from you. We just don't talk at you. We allow you to join the conversation. That's why our phone lines are already open, 0700 993 993 993. If you are a lady, you can call 01465 7190. You can be part of the conversation via social media. We're live, facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM, and also on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM 99.3. Send us a WhatsApp message. We're still answering questions, talking about the mathematics in the River State House of Assembly. My guest, Professor Richard Aduche Wokocha, is a professor of law at the River State University in Port Harcourt. And before we went on that break, we were taking your thoughts and comments. So I'll go to WhatsApp. Someone here says, can you be eligible to recontest a post that you relinquished? Dr. Shola Adekoya from Shagamu sent that question. Professor, are you eligible to run for an office or recontest for a position that you relinquished? Oh, Professor, I think you're muted. Sorry about that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's corrected now, yes. Yeah. So, yes, you are very eligible. Resigning is different from being expelled for a misconduct. So, if you resign, yes, there is nothing in the law stopping you from recontesting should you want to recontest.
Okay.
Especially in this case, you are resigning under one party and recontesting under another party.
Okay. All right.
For resignation, there is nothing stopping you.
There's nothing stopping you. All right. The phone lines are open, Lagos. Let's continue the conversation. 0700 993 993 993. Someone here says, is the state law different from federal laws? Because this is not the first time. Atiku recently Atiku, recently, some cells did this. Why is the members of the River State House of Assembly different? Okay. Professor, would you mind?
Different rules govern legislative and executive positions. If you decamp why there is a crisis in your party, and as the Supreme Court said, there is crisis at the national level of your party, such as factionalization of the party, emergence of different leaderships. You recall back in 2007, 2007 to 11 to 15, 2011 or thereabout, you had factionalization, you had new PDP and all that with different leaderships. And so if you have such environment, the Supreme Court says yes, that qualifies for what the Constitution means by crisis in your party. But if there is no crisis in your party, it's a different ball game. Short of showing evidence that there is a merger between your party and the new party you have moved to, you are out. It's different for executive officers. There is no such rule for them in the Constitution. The Constitution provides for legislative members.
Interesting. Let's go to the phone lines and take some of your questions. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good evening, Miriam.
Good evening. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
My name is Godwin, calling from Loshoro, Lakwe.
All right, Godwin, go ahead with your question.
Thank you. As enumerated by the Prof initially, that under a normal system, a normal democracy, some of those things he mentions, due processes are supposed to be active and followed. But in our own democracy, where one of the requirements is snatching of ballots, and when you snatch, you run, and whatever, then we use money to induce and subdue and suppress, and buy the INEC chairman whatever into pocket and use whatever means to get into the power. Can we apply those due processes as it is obtainable internationally under a democracy to this situation? How am I sure the same way that happened during the presidential, in the judgment, whatever, the law.
What exactly is your question,
Mr.
Godwin? Yes. What exactly is your question? Because my guest can't hear you, and I have to relay this question, and it's too long and winding.
My question is this. The Prof said, since it is only the four legislative that are known by the law now, other ones are no more, they are committee of friends, based on the law on the ground. But with our own democracy in Nigeria, where it is money and snatching of ballot box and how powerful you are that brings you to power, can those normal norms and law and due process be applied in this one to get us the right result based on what is on ground in River State? That's my question.
All right. So Mr. Godwin is more worried. He's not necessarily debating whether the law is right or wrong. He's wondering if the law can be followed. With what he says he saw with the elections, the bribing, money changing hands, people flipping the scripts. Who's to say that will not be the case in River State?
The election is a different question and a different issue. We definitely have a long way to go with perfecting our electoral system with respect to the outcome of the election being the exact representation of the will of the people. But on this issue, you just have to go back to what you have as election and do the best you can there. What happens is the constituencies that those men represent have been denied representation in the legislature. And this is democracy. It's a meeting of constituencies. So you must provide opportunity for them to send another representative to that place. So as skewed and as unwholesome as our election is, we have managed it like that to constitute the assembly before now. And if members resign, we will have to use what we have to try to get what we're supposed to get. The constituencies must be given the opportunity to send somebody to represent them in the legislative chamber so that their views can be heard.
Okay. I have just 2 minutes on the clock before I say my goodbye. So I'll just take one last call, Professor, and then we'll wrap things up here. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts. You have 60 seconds.
Hello.
Good evening.
Afternoon.
Yes.
I congratulate the governor of Rivers.
Turn off your radio, sir.
Okay, my name is Wisdom. Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, Wisdom. We don't have time.
I congratulate the governor of Rivers State. He's doing what I would like to. That is what it's supposed to be. He's trying to use the power of what is in this country. Without doing this funding, governor should go. I'll behind him. I congratulate him. Wike should concentrate on Abuja as a minister of Federal Capital Territory. Should leave the governor alone. The people, the lawmaker that moved to APC should go. They should not call them back. They should not even pay them. That's my contribution to this.
Okay. Well, apparently he's saying he is congratulating the governor. He's done the right thing. He's advocating that these assembly members not be paid because they have decided to decamp. But that's a case for another day. But finally, Professor, let me just ask you before we go. What do you see happening in the coming days? Because I don't necessarily believe that these decampees are going to take this lying down, do you?
Oh, I think yesterday they had a meeting. They had a session somewhere where they assembled. But as I told you, they are going to continue to do that. The option open to them is to go to court and try to get the court to buy in that their circumstance is one that fits the situation that the law says can be done. But as far as the letters of that law are concerned, you can be sure from the beginning that suit will fail. That is the only legal option open to them. As for trying to meet and trying to hold plenaries, they will continue. But as I told you, in the eyes of the law, it is not more than a meeting of committee of friends. There is hollowness in that environment.
We have to.
They have the people's hollow, which comes with the constituency they represent. So it's just a meeting of committee of friends. It has no legal value.
We want to say thank you, Professor, for coming on the show. We have to go on a quick break.
This is an infomercial.
Gets the best of entertainment and fun.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria FM. On Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as